I didn't even have a crush on that waitress.
Yeah, and the fact that I did get rejected was because I was a drag.
It would have never worked.
It was this persona that got rejected.
Yeah, if I really wanted her, I could have had her.
You don't think a woman wants a dragon?
Yeah. Hello and welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast, where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. My name is Josh Witch Michaels, and today, as always, I am joined by
Megan Dragon Perrine.
Cody at the steak Decker.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you for tuning into another episode. Today is a very special episode. We are talking about Burn the Witch. Burn the Witch is a series that's been out for a while, but it just recently got a physical release in English. It's by the master, the madman, Tite Kubo, mangaka of none other than Bleach, which was such an important series to me as a child. And I do want to talk a little bit about the big three in manga. You know, at a certain point was always Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. And what I think is an interesting conversation to have is sort of the trajectory of all three of them as mangaka, right? And so I do want to talk a little bit about Kishimoto, who was the mangaka of Naruto, versus the mangaka of Bleach, Kubo, and their career trajectories. Money versus legacy is really what I wanted to talk with you guys about. But
did only one of them make money?
I think they both made money, but I think maybe one person has definitely cashed in a little bit more on their franchise than the other.
Naruto.
Yeah. And I think that has tarnished its legacy.
You think Boruto?
Mm-hmm.
You think that kind of soils the letting it just die as it is?
Yeah.
It's just dragging out the story, right?
Yeah, because
now, I haven't seen either.
Right.
But from what I can tell, Boruto does the Naruto stuff again.
Yeah, it is just sort of a continuation. And while it's like, I've heard from my brother and, fans of the series that it is doing its own thing. Kishimoto went away for a while, then because of the failure of Samurai 8, came back to it. And so now that he's back at the helm, it's
Which
improved.
Is pretty sad that he went to go do his own thing. And people are like, just keep doing Naruto. And he's like, no, I want to try a different thing. And he was just like, all right, I'll do. It's his son, and it's Boruto.
Yeah,
100%. I think he really did. He was itching to tell a different story, and the entire fandom was like, do more.
And
Naruto.
you know what? And the more I've sat with Samurai 8, I do appreciate. It is an out there story. There are a lot of things happening that's you can respect just nanotech or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's got he was definitely I want to do this now. I want to have all the art style be crazy like this. I want to go in this direction now. Nah.
it's like a solo, like a pop star, in a group, and they're like, I'm going solo, and they're like, just do, or I'm gonna only do breakup songs. It's like a Pink were she'll do fun songs. It's like, we only want to hear your sad shit.
Yeah,
it's like Adele, making fun music out of nowhere, and everyone's like, we don't like this. Go back to being sad.
I have a question for you. What's the clone ninjutsu?
The Kage Bunshin no Jutsu.
Looks like they Kage no Bunshin Jutsu hit him in his career because he had to keep doing copies of Naruto.
You could say that.
You could. Would you be right?
Maybe you. I mean, it's not about whether you should or shouldn't, but you could.
Whoa.
It's something I didn't say to even be appropriate to say.
Wow.
To celebrate also the recent release, the physical release of the manga in English, we have here a little lazy Susie displaying the physical copy. I think it's a beautiful. It's a beautiful product.
You want to do
okay?
Now take a look at that cover there. What we got here is a genuine Shonen Jump series, folks. This has never been available at this time. Coming out just now in the United States. We got full English Viz Media Shonen Jump coming
for
together.
Only $17.99. This story could be yours.
I mean, look at it. Look at the detail. I mean, who wouldn't want this beautiful product in their home? Part of the family, honestly, at this point.
And I would just like to say on the cover, it says, don't judge a book by its cover.
Isn't that so funny?
And I think what more of a powerful statement is there?
Wow.
And that's just the slip cover. Once you peel that slip cover off, the joy is endless because you'll see now that underneath that slipcover is a beautiful illustration of our two main characters, Noelle and Nini, I believe, which is kind of crazy when you say it out loud. But, Kubos' art is on full display here. He is really, leaning into his strengths as a character designer and mangaka. And would you just look at that and would you just marvel at that?
Yeah, and if you look at that one, the girl with the black hair kind of looks like Kobeni.
And
that's a real nice feature.
She kind of does.
Yeah, that's a real nice feature.
She kind of does. And you also see, the other character, Balgo. With Osushi. And I just gotta say, cast of characters, amazing. And the cover and also the main cover of the volume is very simple, yet elegant
in its simplicity.
Elegant in its simplicity and
simple in its elegance.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes. And I will say too, I think it's a great volume. I think it's really cool. I love it when a volume or when a manga does a little something extra, like providing you with a little slipcover. I will say, however, that this slipcover came unglued immediately. And so if you are going to buy it and if you do want to purchase it, I think it looks great on a shelf, but expect this thing to peel and to not last very long.
I mean, I think the cover on the actual book looks much better than the plaid.
Yes.
You would display that cover. You wouldn't display it with the slipcover on.
I kind of like the slipcover just because you wouldn't see this as a main cover of something. Mm-hmm. Like, it is nice to preserve it too. I mean, when I opened mine, it kind of had some like marks on it, which I was like, "What the hell, Barnes and Noble, really?"
Yeah.
But I do like it, and it would look really good on a shelf versus just like the spine of this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to continue with this kind of same cover. I don't know if there'll be different color plaid.
That'd be sick.
Maybe a pink plaid.
Maybe a pink
maybe
plaid.
Maybe a brown.
Who knows?
I do want to ask you guys before I get into, because I think it's an interesting conversation to have. And I think if, with the information that I will provide you, I think that, you will have a lot to add and have an interesting opinion. But before I ramble on about that for too long, how was, reading this series, as people who aren't necessarily fans of Bleach or Kubo necessarily? I know we did do a volume 1 review on Bleach, but his art style has changed so much since then. But just what did you know about it? How did you feel going into it? What was your experience with it?
I had seen the I believe you were saying there was like 4 episodes out of like the anime.
Yeah,
it might
4 or
be
5
considered like an OVA versus like a full length, like 25 episodes or 15 episodes or 11 episodes. So I was like really interested when it came out, and obviously we're both I got these from a Crunchyroll Loot Crate box. And I didn't know anything about the series. It just come out, and I was like, okay, then I get to wear it.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy the first volume of Bleach a lot. The one thing that stood out to me the most was probably like the world building, which is like a prime example of what we're reading in this series. Like, it's just like, everything is just so immersive, and there's so many little details, and it's not too much where you're like, I don't care about this, or like, oh, there's too many like things. It's just like so like casually put into the story that you're like, okay, like it just makes it feel more realized. And I did really enjoy it, and the art's beautiful. Obviously, it's like amazing.
Beautiful art. Cody, what about you?
I remembered you said this was like a spin-off from someone. Mm-hmm. And it reminded me more of Soul Eater than it did of Bleach.
Yeah.
I do think Bleach was better.
Yeah. I'll say that
than Burn the Witch.
Yeah, I'll say that too. I'll agree with that completely. I think Bleach was, even as a first volume, more solid. Burn the Witch does feel like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find them.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Harry Potter type vibes.
And when the first chapter 0 came out, which is how this manga starts, it's chapter 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It was a huge reveal that this was even in the same universe as Bleach at all. People assumed that this was a completely different series until that last panel when they do that thing where they're building the gate back the whole first chapter, and at the very end you can see the sign and it says Soul Society, Western Division or whatever. And that is, Soul Society is a huge location where, so many things happen in Bleach. And this was, for the first time, Kubo canonizing, I guess, that there are multiple soul societies, like there are multiple Hogwarts, I guess, in a similar way. And it does just because it's like witches in London. And, you know, the only thing that I get a little confused on is like you both read like volume 1 of Bleach. The only thing that's like confusing to me is like hollows in Bleach are, you know, I guess more like evil demonic spirits. And in Burn the Witch, they are portrayed more as dragons. And I don't know if they're a separate type of hollow or if that's just how hollows look in London.
Yeah. Also, unless I missed, or unless they like talk about way down in Bleach, but in this, like it's early, but like the way the monsters behave is like, those rules weren't at least in the beginning of Bleach.
What rules are you talking about specifically?
Like if you hang out with one.
Yeah.
Or is that like if you read Bleach all the way through, that's like a reveal, and then if you read this, it's just opens with that?
Yeah, I mean, not to give too much away, to keep it kind of like spoiler free, but also to answer your question, like, you know, you can form a relationship with a hollow in Bleach. And I will just kind of leave it at that. There are people who are harnessing the powers of the hollows, which does seem like what a dragonborn is kind of.
Yeah. And it's like having a relationship with one, or like getting like bitten by one or clawed by one allows
getting bitten, getting smitten.
Yeah. That allows them to become that.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I mean, they are only dragons in this, or unless
it's what it seems like to me.
Because in the other one, it was like just depending on like what that thing was, it would take on like different forms and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like, what monsters do they have in England? They have dragons.
Yeah. I really do feel like to an extent it is just that. But
I mean, what are English folk monsters?
The Loch Ness monster.
That's Scottish. That's Scotland, right?
I guess. I mean, Bigfoot.
That's
America.
Well, we got one. I mean,
we got one.
It is crazy that like London has dragons, and you know, so many different cultures have these awesome spirits, and we have a hairy dude. We have a hairy dude.
We don't even have a chupacabra.
No, that's Mexico.
Yeah, they have a cooler one.
Yeah,
La Llorona.
La Llorona.
La Llorona.
There's the Jersey Devil.
Jersey Devil. Skinwalkers, we have those.
Skinwalkers.
And
I don't like that. I don't like the way that sounds. It doesn't sound good.
I mean, it's what it's called.
It's what it's called. It doesn't make it sound good.
They walk around in skin. We all walk around in skin.
No, but they put on skin.
Some of us put on masks. Some of us put on skin.
We all put on masks.
We all.
Because metaphorically speaking.
In this
who asked?
Soulless society we live in.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, man. Really quick, let's get into, before we get into our analysis, our read through, our walkthrough, I want to get to the topic of money versus legacy. Okay. Kishimoto is the mangaka of Naruto. Kubos the mangaka of Bleach. So for a second, let me walk you through history. Okay. The history of the big three. Kishimoto creates Naruto. Naruto's huge. Naruto stays consistently good. In terms of like the fans were always the same amount of hype about it. Bleach, however, opened out of the gate strong, got thrust into the big three, and over time, because of the workload, the quality of the story, more than the art, and the art to an extent too, but the story got worse and worse and worse and worse, and the quality declined to the point where a lot of fans, even diehard fans, were completely out on it, right? Kubo takes a break, and Kishimoto keeps creating Naruto into Boruto, right? Which seems like a cash grab. Now that Kubo's taken so many years off, people are foaming at the mouth for more Bleach. And recently, that new Bleach chapter came out, and everybody's losing their mind because of the anime adaptation announcement. And then Burn the Witch comes out. And now there just seems to be so much more hype and so much more love for Kubo and the Bleach universe. So, do you think, as a creative, do you think that money and longevity are better than, you know, maybe taking that break, regrouping, and in the grand scheme of things, leaving behind like a greater legacy? Because I feel like now Kishimoto's legacy has been tarnished because now he's just doing like cash grab kind of, you know, things or series or spinoffs. I don't know. Do you have any opinions on that? Do you guys feel any certain way about that?
Well, I didn't grow up, nor do I like the big three.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see the thing of like Boruto is like keep doing it, I'm like that seems like what that series does. Like I mean, isn't that what fillers are?
But as a creator yourself, like you've expressed interest in writing things. Would you feel like it'd be more important to you to create a completely new story if that's what was in your heart, rather than the publishers coming to you and saying like, yeah, this is really popular. Let's just keep writing books with these characters in this universe.
Well, have I gotten enough money from my first work to like have a like healthcare and stuff?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I'd be like, no, I'm good.
You'd be like, fuck it.
If I have like health insurance though?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like, I can like rent an apartment like comfortably. Okay, yeah. I'd be like,
you're living large.
Okay, yeah. Like I could like if I find a lump, I go to a doctor.
Oh, immediately.
Oh yeah. Then what?
Get flown to a hospital.
Okay, and then they're like, do you want to come in for one more? Or do you want to do your little artsy project?
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, I'm fine. I'm done, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is just like, I mean, I don't, I think if you want like a bigger car, you'd be like, yeah. But unless you have like a lot of bills to pay, why not just like do something else?
Do something for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about it?
Like, it would be different if manga was more of like a collaborative. I know it is to a certain extent, like with the editors and publishers and assistants and all this stuff. But, when you really think about it, it is just one person, making this, writing the story, drawing the panels. So it's like, if they want to do what they want to do, just let them do what they want to do. Like, not, prolong the end of it just because it's getting money. It's like, well, they're putting all of themselves into this one thing,
It's always something I've loved about anime versus like Western cartoons or animation is that Western animation doesn't know when to stop, dude. You know how many freaking Ben 10 spin-offs and reboots that there are? But it feels like with anime, there is a story to tell, a starting point, a middle point, and an ending point. And then just with these like really, really huge series, those are the exceptions, right? Like Boruto. And stuff.
Well, you see that with like movies too. Like we don't need a fourth movie. Like we don't need a Toy Story 4.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Like,
all right, subscribe to the Patreon
because you're right, Josh. It's sort of like it's a soulless corporate to extend a series after the first one. It's done. The story's done and it's over. So
and I know. Like, given my previous opinion on Toy Story 4, that I might seem like I'm contradicting myself a little bit right now. But Toy Story 4 was a story that needed to be told.
Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4 who?
For me. And for a lot of people.
Yeah, I guess they kind of.
I walked into that one.
Yeah,
but yeah, it is like when I saw Boruto come out, I wasn't a huge Naruto fan. I just started watching it recently or like getting into it at all. So when I saw Boruto, it just looked like, okay, they're just throwing everything at the wall to get money. Like, it's not like it looks like it's like a genuine thing.
Yeah, even the animation quality is not stellar.
And a lot of people that I know also say, like, I'm just watching it because I just want to intake as much stuff as I can with this one series. Like, it's not needed, but I like this world and characters, so I'm just going to continue to support it because that's what I like. That's what I'm used to.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say goodbye.
I'm not ready to say goodbye, but it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
Maybe if the story had more of a conclusive ending. Was that the issue? Did it end on a note of like, and the story continues? Or?
Well, my issue with like where Bleach and Naruto differ as far as their continuations are concerned, I feel as if Bleach told its story, right? And now is telling a new story with the same characters, but also including characters from a different generation, from the next generation, which seems similar to what Boruto might be doing. But what I think Boruto is doing is it's leaning more into the next generation and expecting you to already be invested in a character just because it's this character and this character's child.
You know what I think of, like when a story is like we're gonna keep going. If they're gonna do the next generation, they also need to do a new time period. I enjoy a story that'll like be like, and also now it's like Victorian era.
Legend of Korra.
Yeah,
we've talked about a book series that did something similar.
Yeah, I think we talked about like spin-offs, like prequels usually just work better because a prequel spin-off can't really undo whatever ending feeling that the original has. But then if it's a direct sequel, it does kind of feel like, oh, we're just But if it's like a kind of a far off sequel and you're like, all that stuff did matter, but the world is like still going, and now look, the world is changing. And then it like becomes fun again because like, well, how do these rules apply in this world? Mm-hmm. Because it is a different world now. Mm-hmm. I think that's if I was gonna watch a future spinoff, that's what I would want.
Yeah, does
that happen in Naruto and Bleach, or is it just like next week?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and we'll get into the manga, the first volume of Burn the Witch right now, but the last thing I guess I really want to say is that it does just seem to rely too heavily on me caring because it's Naruto and this other person's child more so than I care about them as a character. And what I read from the recent Bleach one shot is that it's like, oh no, it's not just about the next generation. It's still about the characters that you love. It's just that like now they're in this new sort of like
they got different jobs.
Yeah. They're in this new phase of their life. And so we're also going to make this next generation interesting, but we're not going to lie to you and say that this is going to be a series that's going to be all about them. Whereas Boruto, I think kind of like, it does seem like, and again, I haven't seen it and I know there are great parts about it, but it seems like it maybe backpedaled a little bit where it was like, oh, here's this person's kid, this person's kid, this person's kid. They're going to team up. They're going to go on similar adventures and you're going to learn and grow to love them as much as you grew and loved the original cast. And then people were like, yeah, this is kind of whatever. And they're like, okay, we'll bring Naruto and Sasuke back in. You know what I mean?
They're back for one more fight. You can't.
Sasuke.
He's back.
But I'm excited. I'm excited for the anime too. And I can't wait.
Yeah, it goes back into the legacy thing. Like, too, like, obviously, like, there's one person doing all the work, majorly. So it's like, if you can't seem to write something, that you are proud of and you're just doing it for other people just to get it out there, not taking breaks or like not doing this. It's just like the industry's so messed up when it comes to that type of stuff. And it's like, just do your own thing. Like also, your real fans are going to appreciate what you're bringing now.
Yeah.
Imagine this. You do sell something. It does become popular. You try to do something else, doesn't work. And they're like, people are like, we'll literally just buy you copying and like editing some of the text.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Boruto wants to be the world's greatest, and then his best friend is he's like a rival.
Yeah, it's also just that they're clearly doing opposites. Like they're making Boruto a Sasuke character, and they're making like Sasuke's, or they're making not Sasuke's offspring. They're making another character want to be the Naruto character. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm excited. Let's talk about Burn the Witch. The art too, by the way. Sometimes I do feel like Kubo can just like you were kind of saying, he can just draw shit. And it's almost like, yeah, I really enjoyed the story, but it's almost like I'm here to just like see this. I'm here to just, and the anime is beautiful and the character designs are beautiful. And that's where his strengths lie, I guess. And so it's almost like this story could be bad and I'd still love reading it because it's nice to look at.
It really is nice to look at. And all the small details and, like the characters and like, their dynamics are pretty, I wouldn't say basic, but I feel like I've seen these types of tropes before in characters. That's not a bad thing because it is just like, okay, like I'm just reading it, like having fun versus trying to be like, okay, that didn't make sense. It's just Burn the Witch,
baby.
I view anytime a character's thing as I want to see panties, I kind of view that as that's just filler dialogue for the stuff to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely gotta agree that out of the gate, I was a little like, okay, we're gonna do this, and this character's gonna be this. But it did have some moments later on where these characters kind of won me over. Walking through it, though, I guess it opens with chapter 0, I guess. Opens up with, yes.
Maggie. Oh, yeah. Should I read the synopsis for the series?
For anybody who doesn't know anything about Burn the Witch.
Is there a synopsis?
Read the synopsis aloud so that you can decide if it's something that you would...
It's on this one? Okay,
you would like to read yourself.
Behind the world you think you know lies a land of magic and fairy tales. But reverse London isn't the pretty picture that's painted in children's books. Fairy tales have teeth, and the dedicated agents of Winged Bind are the only thing standing between you and the real story.
Now, Cody, you closed your eyes during the reverse London part of the synopsis. Is there a reason for that?
I was just feeling it so much. I was just...
Yeah.
Reverse London.
Yeah, Reverse London.
What are they?
You've heard of Reverse Uno. Get ready for.
Yeah, not the best
London.
name for an alternate.
No.
They give you representation with their tax.
There we go. That's great. I mean, people like to shit on political Cody, but I've been missing it.
Take that.
Take that,
London.
And they love us.
Oh yeah, they love when we like try to impersonate them too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They really love that.
Reverse London.
They love that. Yeah. So we meet Noelle, and she's this like she's a I don't want to say a tsundere type of character, but she's definitely just like not about this other guy, Balgo, who is the panty guy.
Yeah.
And just that is just his archetype, the panty guy.
Yeah, which is like, is there a word? There's tsundere, and then there's the guy who's like, show me your panties, and she's like, oh yeah, no, that guy's just annoying.
Gotta be a name.
And then they like just hang out, and he's like, can I see your underwear? She's like, no. I'm like, is this? When was this written?
When was Burn the Witch written?
Yeah.
Oh, this was written like maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
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 I mean, these are, you know what I mean? These are.
It's a throwback.
Well, I mean, these are things that, you know, these are things that always have existed and I feel like always will exist in anime.
Yeah, it's
manga.
a trope. Like I said, it's like, okay, I've seen this character. I know what he's all about, but
yeah,
I just consume so much. It's at this point, I'm just numb.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, this is what he's about. Okay, cool. Like as long as he didn't do anything too sus, I'm still on board.
Yeah, I bleach my mind from all those lines because I am like, this is completely skippable. Everything he says is just the lines are, can I see your underwear?
Oh yeah,
like that's
your
knickers.
Knickers.
Yeah, I can just skip by that, and then you're like, I guess what you could do is just replace it with dialogue with whatever you want. With like, oh hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah,
how are you?
I hope you're having a great day.
The only I don't really have a problem with that type of character beyond I'm just like, I don't think this is funny, and I don't get I can't see a real person doing this.
Yeah.
Outside of that, the only thing that gets me is I'm like, do people think this is funny?
I'm of the mind that, you know, maybe initially it was something that was you know, done with the intent of being funny, but I think as it just sort of goes on, anime and manga just grows and evolves and changes. I think it is just like a staple of that genre or that medium. I don't think it's them trying to be funny anymore. I think it's just them like, you know.
It's like a Wilhelm scream.
Yes.
It's a guy.
I can't do it.
Show me your underwear.
Yeah. I wish I could do it, or I wish I had one queued up. But yeah. So anyway, they are. She's in high school. They're in high school. They're classmates, and she does the whole like, I'm gonna go to he wants to see her underwear. I'm going to go to my secret location.
Yeah, and he tricks her. I mean, it would have worked on me. There's a little cute little dog.
And I knew the moment.
Oh my goodness. He's so freaking cute. He's this little like Pomeranian. And she sees him and she has like food and she's just ready. She's like, hell yeah. And he's like, you fell for my trap. And then he tries to get her and she's like, get out of my way, loser.
Well, there you go, folks. It would work on Megan.
Yeah, if you have a cute dog, I mean, really kind of seems like that's all it takes.
Just a dog at all. Because we've been with Megan in public.
Yeah, we've been.
They don't even have to be like nice looking dogs.
I don't think it has to be, but it helps.
It does help, but she'll just be like, is that a dog?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes they're like mean looking too.
They're not mean.
It'll be
Sometimes.
like there's like a dog just barking and trying to bite at people and you're like, oh my God, is that a dog?
Yeah, I think you're just blinded by the dog.
I was gonna think of
I know we were
I was like, okay. I really was gonna be impressed.
Yeah, you paused to like let us jump in if we had something.
I paused.
Doggone it, you done it again.
I got a bone to pick with you.
There we go. She goes into her phone booth that teleports her, or in a very spy way.
As a Doctor Who fan, were you like, oh my God?
Yeah, I did get a little aroused. If I'm being 100% honest, which I feel like I can be, I felt myself, I felt like the Grinch.
Grinch.
I felt like, where kind of his heart grew.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
You saw someone in an English setting enter a telephone booth and you're like, That's a Doctor Who reference.
Yeah, that's a little.
That's a Doctor Who reference right there.
Yeah,
it's
maybe,
a Doctor Who reference.
It's a Doctor Who.
Kubo's a
Doctor.
Whovian dude.
Whovian.
But yeah, I grew that day, as a man.
Jesus Christ.
And I'll leave it at that. But yeah, that was awesome to see. Anytime I see a phone booth in London, you're
here for it.
I'm always here for it.
I was like, okay, yeah. She went down an elevator. And then Bog was like, "Where'd she go? Where'd she?" They're trying to stalk her. He's like a stalker, pretty much.
He's a stalker, dude. And they go to Reverse London, and Reverse London is it's not necessarily a different version of London. The way it seems is that it is. They go back and forth between the first volume, right? And the way that it seems, in the way that Soul Society is a different place, completely removed from the world that the rest of people are living in. But Burn the Witch, they feel more connected than they do in Bleach. But it's just a place where wizards go to to be witches and wizards.
Just to chill, just to
hang out,
chill, and like have dragons do things for them.
Yeah, they have drag shows there at night.
Like drag shows?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
but with dragons.
Like people like dress up as dragons, or?
Yeah, people dress up as dragons, and maybe they put on a little bit of a show. Yeah.
Is that going to be in the anime, or?
Oh, it not only is it going to be, but it is.
Oh, well, I'll check out the
anime. Yeah, and we're let in on the world, the rules, the hierarchy. They are pipers, I think is what they're called, and there are like sabers or something along those lines that are like the elites, and their just job is to like everything is a dragon, which is the only thing that I'm like still kind of confused by, because they're
I love the thing because it's on the fly, which they mentioned in chapter 0 and chapter 1, which I thought like because chapter 0 is like kind of the beginning, but then not quite, and it's like that's why it's 0 is it was kind of like a beta beginning or something.
Yeah.
But like I get that part, but reading how they like in both chapter 0 and chapter 1, like, that's why there are dragons on the flag.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then the chapter 1, remember the dragon on the flag? All right. So
they did a lot of that. There's like
yeah.
at least 2 pages of just like recap of what we've already read. But again, it's probably like that was the beginning of the story.
It's chapter 0, not chapter 1.
Yeah,
so
you get the feeling
doesn't
that Kubo
technically count, but
went to London. He went to London. He saw the flag.
He saw. I mean,
yeah.
Is that on the London flag? Because if that's great, because that could just be racist. If you just base their entire thing off of the thing you saw on their flag.
Just in their flag.
Like if you went to California, you're just like, yeah, they just fight bears all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be kind of cool. Though. If we got reverse California.
Reverse California, and everyone doesn't say like or no, no.
What do they say instead?
As.
And then no, they go yes.
Yes.
Nah. They go yes.
Yes, and they're riding bears, and they're
no king.
No king. Yeah.
Which is what we do say here.
And everybody's very close-minded in Reverse California.
It's always dark and cold.
Yeah, they have a zero tolerance for a lot of things in Reverse California.
Yeah, in winter time, it's actually winter and not the low 80s.
Yeah, it's the rules that we're being introduced to in the world, and they kind of do it twice, and they tell us, that dragons exist, and that the reason that they're in folklore is because they're not actually dragons. They are these like, spirits. What I'm assuming are hollow adjacent or hollows themselves.
A thing where like your perception of them can affect their appearance?
Possibly.
Because I could see it being a thing, like, there's a reason why it's exclusively dragons, is they're like, all we told people was they looked like dragons, so like that, like, because Japanese monsters are also like way more out there than like a lot of other monsters.
I think they bring up like how those, like, they do bring up Japan too.
Yeah.
Like they go like, oh, Japan has the right idea or something, just kill them all, instead of like what they do is like have them like grow them for meat and like other things.
Yeah, they harvest them. They use them for like electricity, for food, for power.
But I would draw the line at eating ghosts. If you join a secret society and they're like, and we also eat them, that would be your sign of like, this isn't.
Well, I mean, maybe dragon meat's good.
I'm not saying it's not good.
But you would draw the
they're
line.
ghosts too, aren't they? If they're like in the reality of Bleach.
See, that's the thing, because hollows are known for having that like that chain or that hole in their chest, and these don't have them. So I mean, I'm still assuming that they're ghosts. Also, I would eat a ghost, I think.
See, this is how bad stuff happens.
Yeah, I would eat a human ghost.
That's
okay. All right, no, I see what you're saying. So you would eat you would eat the ghost of a cow.
Of a cow. Yeah.
Which is in a way we're all doing when we
we
are already doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life force.
Yeah, I would definitely eat a ghost.
Beef force.
Beef force. Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? I just don't know that I would I don't know. I just don't know that I would
I wouldn't be the first one to do it.
For sure. No.
And I would like
a ghost cow?
No, someone who's like we also
a human ghost?
He wouldn't be the first one to do it in general. He would,
you'd wait on it.
I would like join up with someone who is also new, and they're like if Josh was like, "Oh, I'll eat it." I'd be like, "Okay," and I would just watch him for 6 months.
Oh,
yeah, definitely too. Because even in the world of Burn the Witch, they talk about how even getting bitten by a dragon can make you a dragonborn, which can make you this sort of outcast that needs to be either watched or executed. So if just coming in contact with a dragon can do that, then I would imagine consuming one could or would. Do that
the
as well.
levels of the drug toxin or whatever they call it, like that would affect it. But
yeah, and I love Kubo to death, but I mean, you don't need to call the toxin that a thing, gives off the name of the thing with just Ixin in it.
Dragixin.
Yeah.
What's the name of the dragon toxin? Droxin.
Droxin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dragoxin.
You looked up like the etymology of. You really looked up like classifications of
Yeah.
poisons.
Let me think.
But we get there. We're introduced to Nini, and Nini gets her own sort of in chapter 1. Like Noelle's the focus of the intro in chapter 0, and then Nini is in chapter 1.
Yeah.
And we realize that she's like an idol, or not an idol, but she was in a band.
Yeah, like a pop star. I think it's called Cecil Die Twice.
Mm-hmm. Name of their band.
Cool.
Love to hear them.
Is that a reference to anything in Bleach?
Not off the top of my head. Now, people watching and listening who know maybe more than I do, let me know. But I don't know off the top of my head. I don't think so.
I loved her hoodie too, by the way.
But Die Twice might be.
Very cute.
Oh, the character design's off the charts.
Yeah.
She's going through her little controversy, and we find out that Noelle essentially, once we're introduced to the world and the characters, their boss, Billy Banks Jr., who also has a more mysterious past as we get farther into the volume, but we realize their relationship and that he's always kind of sending them on these missions there because their Piper's job is to like cultivate or harvest dragons, and the Sabers are like their job is to exterminate them. But also Noelle's in it for the money because she's broke. And since Nini is a pop star and rich in the real world, in right side up London, she's in it for the rank. She's in it for the number,
the achievements.
Yeah.
And I did like that line where they're like, "Oh, I'm doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the achievements," and they both like in unison. But if anyone asks us what we're doing it for, is for societal justice.
That was funny. That sounds like something Cody would say.
And he's like, "You don't have to say that every time you guys take off on your brooms."
It's important to remind yourself
of what's important.
Yeah. Be honest with yourself, but also, it's also for the other things too.
It's for societal justice.
Sasageo justice.
It's for Sasageo. We live in a Sasageo.
Yeah.
The first part of this is, we can kind of just breeze past it. It's just the world. They end up, kind of starting to harvest fruits from a dragon's nostrils, and then are called back to right side up London, which is what I'm going to keep calling it just for continuity. Where
what's the opposite of reverse?
Forward?
Forward London.
Forward London.
Forward London.
I like that. That sounds very London.
Forward London.
Forward London.
Yeah.
Calling everyone on the train.
Yes.
Forward London.
Yeah. They go back to Forward London.
That's very true.
They go back to Forward London because Balgo's in it with his dog.
Oh my god!
Who is a dragon that's been impersonating a dog.
Osushi. Osushi.
And we find out that they can just do that. That they could just kind of possess them and take them over, which is the first kind of big reveal. But the even bigger reveal is that his friend, who's been there the whole time, he's like, I want to get out of here. I want to go. And then they notice on their like dragon radar that there is 2 of them there and that he's one.
And that was crazy. I mean, they like say too, like he's been playing human for like 10 years. Like he really committed to the bit.
Yeah, I didn't get interested in the story until this part happened.
I think, yeah, for sure.
I thought that was a very, I would like to see it like explored more. Just because it was like 10 years. And how he does say like, that's more than I knew the original guy.
Yeah. And he's like, so you can't tell me that this is nothing.
Yeah.
Like you didn't care for me.
I've been and like the thing was the guy was like a good friend.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I was just expecting to be like, yeah, like the guy you replaced wasn't as good of a friend as you.
It is that moment where, and that's what I think the payoff to the panty line is, right? Because in the beginning...
Payoff to the panty line.
It's the payoff to the panty. Because in the beginning, he's like, I want to see your panties. And then he's just obsessed with Noelle the whole time. And then when he says, like, I can't leave because Noelle's in danger, you assume... There's that moment where it's like, okay, this guy's obsessed with her. He just wants to be around her. He's gonna get in the way. And he's gonna make everybody's job harder. But he's like, no, I can't. And I think even then he's like, Noelle's going to be fine. And he's like, no, it's not because of Noelle, because of my friend.
Bros before hoes.
Mm-hmm. Bros before hoes. And there was a really heartfelt moment in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's like trying to convince the dragon to like chill.
Yeah.
He's just like,
chill, bro, chill.
Because because the dragon's like, no, I told you the thing. I'm a dragon.
Don't you get it?
And he's like, dude, I'm friends with you. And the dragon's like, what?
It's me, not you.
No, I was pretending. For 10 years? I was.
It's a joke.
And they just get like a long montage of all the things they've done. And like their hands like gently like gently touching for just a second. They just like, they don't pull away for just like 1 second.
Yeah, it's like
just to see. Yeah. Just to test it.
It'll show him like the guy who is impersonating the dragon. Just like, she doesn't like me, dude. Come on, man.
And the dragon's like, whoa, is that the dragon?
That's the dragon.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he's like, you're great, man. Like, she'd be a fool not to love you. That all can't be fake.
Yeah. And the dragon's like, haha, no.
Ha, you thought.
I was tricking.
You thought.
I didn't even have a crush on that waitress.
Yeah, and the fact that I did get rejected was because I was a dragon.
It would have never worked.
It was this persona that got rejected.
Yeah, if I really wanted her, I could have had her.
You don't think a woman wants a dragon?
Yeah. Yeah. You see all these tendrils that I have and the way that I can unravel? Just imagine.
Just imagine the reverse London.
Yeah. Oh, I can give her a reverse London.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd have been sweet. That'd have been nice to see.
I assume that's going to be in the anime.
Oh, I think probably, it is.
Yeah, just
like the dragon show.
Nice that'd be sweet. Someone needs to cut that together.
Oh, so she's like, ow!
And we find out too that like
the dog does make a barking noise.
They're both impersonating dragons.
Good work.
And that's got to be in there. And there's that heartfelt moment, and then ultimately, he's defeated and he's killed by Noelle. And there's that moment of realizing, I guess, that just because that was his friend doesn't mean that he's safe, or that anybody who is a dragon is going to be nice or safe from being killed or spared. Mm-hmm. His contact with him made him a dragonborn, which I'm still a little unclear on exactly what that is.
I think that means you get shonen powers.
I think it means you get shonen powers.
Well, we see later on something's going on with him. Like we are led into him being more than
meets the
eye, mm-hmm. more than don't judge a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like kind of excited towards the end of it because we do get that scene. Well, we'll talk about it later, but I was like, okay,
yeah, it's just Balgo, and now his dog, who is still half,
they're also a dragon,
with the wings. Oh my god,
which I guess is like a lower powered dragon, because there was like a chapter note in between chapters that said like, oh, there are dragons that are like cats, which you can apply to be like, that you can apply for like
sorry,
that you can apply to own, I guess.
They're so cute.
There's drakes, there's draglings, there's wyverns, worms. I don't like that one.
You know the difference between a wyvern and a dragon?
The wyvern, I believe, is the one that has the bat-like feature in that its arms are wings, and whereas a dragon has all 4 limbs with wings.
You fucking nailed it, dude. I didn't know you were a dragon.
Now, let me ask you this. What's the difference between a dragon and a drake?
See, drakes I assumed were always just like smaller, more like aerodynamic. Yeah.
There's a weird energy right now. You guys are like getting on over dragons.
You know how rare you get to talk about different types of dragons? Do you know when this comes up in your life? It never comes up. You never get to be like,
oh my God.
You're making
all right,
me blush,
but and I'm like, Wyvern, you mean Wyvern? I'm like, hell yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did. I said it wrong on purpose. Fuck yeah.
Oh, but you know how it's pronounced? Which one's more aquatic?
Oh yeah, which ones were aquatic?
Yeah. Which ones has
webbed feet?
Yeah.
Oh man.
The aquatic ones, no arms or legs. They're more of a water snake.
Dragons are kind of awesome, dude.
No, they're extremely awesome. They're not kind of.
Yeah, no, they're
going out on a limb here.
And I
going out on a wing here. I'm just winging it. I'm just
Jeez.
winging it.
I hope that Burn the Witch gets into more like types of dragons too.
I mean, like I also am a sucker for like pages between each chapter, and we do get little notes from Kubo, Kubo, just saying like, this is the dragon. Here's their skin is like terracotta and blah blah. I'm just like, oh, I'm so immersed and it's so much fun.
And we do get a little sense of like there's like these sort of like legendary dragons.
Yeah.
That were kind of cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so yeah, he's back. Now they have to watch him. We're gonna fast forward through kind of all of this stuff because there's a really bigger moment at the end, the climax. They're in charge of watching him. They have another call that they have to kind of
get to
when
answer.
Yeah, they answer.
Yeah.
And this is during the time, like, it's Saturday for them, right? Is that
it's like
correct?
their off day?
Yeah, and they're like, don't call us.
Yeah.
And
then
Billy
you get
is
to see
like-
him at home. That's something Kubo does too, where you get to see people just kind of chilling.
I love it.
Love it.
That is a nice feature that you don't get that. It's surprising how much it adds to the world.
It does.
Totally.
It's just being like, they also just like they also have nothing to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little, I think that might be one of my favorite examples of character and world building.
Yeah.
Like, just like, yeah, they watch TV sometimes. You're like, oh.
It's a nice little touch.
Yeah. Like,
it's cozy.
Yeah.
Cozy.
They they just have to go answer this call, and all it is that basically we find out that like Balgo's dragonborn, this new dragonborn part of him just attracts dragons either to him or to his dog, and so that's going to be a problem in the future. They solve that problem. We also find out that if humans come in contact or anybody comes in contact with a dragon, then it's a 100-year sentence or execution. I believe that is going to mean later on that just getting a feel for this world and how it might be similar to Bleach. I have a feeling that it's going to be because there are people in power who are afraid of what could happen if a human and a dragon.
Well, yeah, on that line, like we haven't really seen them have any negative side effects.
Exactly.
So if you're thinking down the road of like if someone gets in contact with a dragon, they become a shonen. And then they don't want that power to get out there, so normally they execute or isolate those people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think that there's going to be people later on who find out the truth that like you can achieve ultimate power by like fusing with a dragon or something. I don't know. Which would
this
cool.
is just a fanfic.
Yeah, I'm just writing my own thing. Yeah. I'm going to be really let down if that's not what happens. Anyway, that's kind of it for that. But then they go on and we find like sort of the meat of it for time's sake is this
the ghost meat of it.
The ghost meat of it. Act 3. The pop star, the other member of the band who had this like argument with Ninny that was on TMZ or whatever, or their version
BBC.
of TMZ. BBC, yes. And how that there's somebody who's been breeding a dragon in Forward London, the real world, and sort of like leading up to that. We see this council too.
Awesome, dude. Yeah. I was reading it and I love all the unique spellings, like the details, the fonts for each character were based off of them, and I was like, yes, like amazing. Just little details like that really just put a smile on my face.
Yeah. And you can tell they're all hand drawn too. And like you said, they match the energy of the character. And I'm a sucker for councils.
I like the gun wands that I was told were going to be in here, and I'm like, those don't look like guns or wands. Those look like something else.
Yeah.
They look like a flute.
They look like horns, I guess.
Yeah, like horns.
But they holster them like guns.
So awesome though, the way when they blow it onto it and then it just like like completely like the sparkle aesthetic thing. Awesome.
I want to make one.
You should.
I'd love to. But anyway, yeah. So there's a guy, Bruno, who also looks so fucking cool.
Yeah.
He is basically behind, like, he's pushing for the execution of Balgo. Basically, they go to answer this call in the real world of this dragon being bred or raised by a human. It ends up being Nini's band mate, and she kind of has her own moment of touching at times.
Yeah.
But
I mean, she's obsessed with her.
She's obsessed with her.
She's like jealous that she's talking to Noelle. She's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Yeah, she just has a thing for me." And I'm like, "Okay."
There was a moment too where I feel like she really did kind of strike a chord with me when she was saying that, she was only kind of in the band because she didn't know what else she had outside of the band, and just her struggling with her own sort of, I guess, like identity or like what value, like her own value, I guess. I do wish that Burn the Witch would dwell on these moments a little bit more. It does seem like they're just kind of like in the background of the fights, or to add stakes to the fights.
Yeah, for this is a one shot, right? So like because of the anime, they said they're gonna like do more of the story.
Well, so Chapter 0 was a one shot, and then because people were really into Chapter 0, then they continued the manga, which already got turned into an anime. Like the anime is already out, and it covers everything that happens in Volume 1.
Yeah, I did like the thing about like the dragon makes me special, and it's like, well, yeah, it will too. It'll give you powers, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty
being
sure.
near one, and yeah, so far we've seen 2 dragons, and the dragons seem pretty chill.
Yeah,
that's
they
what
are
I mean.
chill.
Yeah,
like
except for the dark ones, I guess.
Yeah, there's dark dragons, but also like, didn't they say that this dragon was like the father of the dark dragons too? They were the predecessors to the dark dragons. I could have sworn I read that.
I don't remember.
They've been around even before
because they're like
formation
legendary
of this society, I guess. Cinderella, which I thought was like a cool name, dude.
Cool name, it's running away from your problems like Cinderella did, trying to be something that you're not. A lot of symbolism there.
Yeah, and you find out that Bruno's been just like kind of pulling strings. He's kind of like let this all kind of happen so that he would have an excuse to blame it on Balgo, and that they could arrest Balgo, and that
he has like a warrant out for his like execution, and like everyone's gonna want to kill him now, and that was set by the council or whatever.
Yeah, and when Megan was reading this part, she likened it to Dan a little bit.
It was, remember? The skull face?
When Balgo put on, because I guess his like spell casting ability is like using spray paint to draw these seals, and he wears like a gas mask.
Yeah, I like that. That was like that's a cool bandana design. He definitely just put it on because he's like,
I look cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have a practical use in that the fumes from the spray paint.
Yeah, but
it also looks
sick, right?
Yeah, it looks dope.
And not enough bandanas in costumes.
Yeah, I think more accessories need to.
And it's such a simple thing, right? You get it first of all, it can be just a scarf design. How fun are those as shonen? And you lift it up, and then it's like a little spooky face.
Little spooky face. And I like that too, because he is like, there's like a streetwear sort of energy to everything that Kubo does, even with like Bruno's like design. I'm a sucker for like fashion in manga, dude. And I think that like, the outfits and the style of these characters is so sick. And to that streetwear aesthetic, like the fact that he does have these like cans of spray paint, and he's like, using his dragon's wings that he summons, and he's like, painting these seals on them and then using them to.
His dragon's dope too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think spray painting magic seals is one of the coolest ways of showing like magic in modern settings.
Yeah, it's cool.
That might be like the perfect example of like how you can have you have a guy like shake, like if a story opens with that, right? A guy shaking a can, and like he's like, oh, what's he drawing? And it's a rune, and it like glows. You're like, oh,
that is really awesome. I wish they would I almost wish now that you say that would have maybe been the reveal.
Although, I guess never actually. Don't worry about that. Don't even worry.
Don't think about that.
Don't think about that one anymore. Yeah, actually,
don't think about it at all.
And now it's gone. Actually, it was bleeped.
It was bleached.
It was bleached.
Yeah. But yeah, and then, we realize that this dragon that, Nini's friend has been in contact with, who she can see, because there are people in the, this isn't every story. There are people who can see these things because humans can't, just like they can't see hollows, is a like legendary dragon named Cinderella, who's like one of the 7. And they're more powerful than, any other species of dragon. And their abilities are insane. There was a funny line of dialogue where the dragon spreads its wings and they give a description. Noelle gives a description of this dragon's abilities that she had read in a book before, and says that they fall like stars in the sky, casting a light on everything they touch. And then Nini's like, yeah, they're just bombs. Like, they're just bombs.
Yeah, that grand like reveal of just explosions in the city. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I thought it was like a powder, like a
I thought it was a powder.
magic pixie dust or something.
Yeah, magical.
And that, and as far as like fights go, like I said, I wish even with the Balgo fight in the beginning with his friend, like there are emotional moments. I do wish they would have lingered and been.
Yeah, a lot of it seemed to be on the go. And like not moving. It was moving on the ball go.
On the ball. Keep it going.
Don't drag on this conversation.
Yeah, don't drag on this bit. Yeah. Yeah. She said the drag on thing, and I changed the last bit.
Anyway, I forgot what I was saying.
No, that it feels like it keeps moving.
Yeah, it feels moving. A lot of them were just like going to locations. A lot of it was like, why did you bring him? I don't know. But why did you bring him? I don't know. And it was like so many things like that could have been taken out and added more to the emotional moments that maybe could have lingered on a little longer.
Yeah, there was a lot of people reacting to things that were happening.
Yeah. And it's like, it wasn't horrible, but now that you're saying like, oh, I wish it could have like spent more time here, it does feel like that could have been toned down a bit.
Like, imagine if they replaced every like scene of the guy saying, "Show me your panties," with an example of how like modern technology is being incorporated into the world.
There was like 5 or 4 like little panels of him saying that. It wasn't like full pages of dialogue.
It was also how they opened the story.
It was in the beginning, but it wasn't past. Like once he had his heartfelt moment, I don't think he ever said it again.
Yeah, but it is like, is your introduction to him, and it is like mentioned a lot.
But now that I'm saying it out loud, I think it was for that moment between him and his friend, because he is setting up his friend's like, I don't like you keep talking about this girl's panties. I don't care. And then it was for kind of that moment where he's like, no, I do care about my friend and I want to help him, I guess. That's just how I felt about it. Maybe I'm blinded by Kubos light. But anyway, cool fight though. Regardless, the fights were cool. They were interesting. They were fun. Definitely something that I think in the anime is like way more entertaining and way more interesting to see than to read. Mm-hmm. And they end up helping. I was a little disappointed that they ended up killing Cinderella.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what, like, they're like, okay, we like dragons, but we don't like dragons.
I think, like you said, dark dragons, or there are certain types of dragons that can become their familiars, and but then there are some that are considered like evil.
Or it's going in the direction of maybe none of them are evil.
Yeah,
except for the one that blew up a whole city block.
Yeah.
Actually, he was pretty.
But maybe that one was just like being provoked,
or it's like magic, uncontrollable, and also like he just gets the explosion when you ever transform, an explosion happens behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, who's telling them to kill these things?
Yeah. I do think that there is some sussiness happening.
I think that when it's like, oh, look, this one was boys with this guy for 10 years, and this one was like a pet for a while, and then the society of these people that eat them.
Harness, like, enslave them.
Yeah, they're using them for their own benefits.
Yeah.
There's definitely something afoot.
Yeah. A game.
Something a claw.
I was thinking of
I did like what's his name though too. The guy with the main chief. What's his name?
Yeah.
I forgot his name again.
The Billy Banks Jr.
Yeah, Billy Banks Jr. He was awesome. I was like reading it out loud and I was like, whoo!
Yeah.
Like everything was just like, okay, they're trying to kill it, and he just points his finger and just demolishes
like through
it.
the glass from a distance like a sniper.
So far away. Like I was like, this guy is dope.
Yeah.
Like he's hiding.
Yeah.
He's gonna be. It's gonna be interesting seeing him in like fights or anything like that.
Yeah, and then
he's
there's
very powerful.
another character later on who says like I shouldn't have expected any less from like the son of a hero or something. So we're already sort of getting some clues that this guy is going to be very important and is a lot more powerful than he's putting on, which is something that I think Kubo does a lot too, which I like. You know, with like Urahara and like even some other characters without like spoiling anything, are characters that are there and they're like kind of goofy, and then you find out that they're pretty strong.
So you're saying their cover isn't indicative of their content?
I'm saying that you should never judge a character or a book by its cover.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you think that's why he put it on the...
I think now after, really giving it some thought, I think that you keep discovering layers.
Because at first I was like, okay, like, yeah, that's what they say about books, and this is a book.
Yeah. And this is a book. And the end of the showdown is basically just, Bruno and because Balgo is helping Bruno, the order, his like the execution order is sort of dismissed or whatever. And there's a meeting between Bruno and one of the other heads of the council. And he's basically saying like, yeah, I never expected you to kind of like undo this order, but he leads or he like basically says that he's doing it because he wants to use Balgo as a weapon or as a tool.
Oh, yeah. We forgot to mention, like, Balgo just gets a sword.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Don't know what that was about,
manifested.
where that even came from. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, what the heck?
What the heck?
And then the girls are like, that is crazy. Where did you even get that? So that's why I was talking about, like, before, like, something's going on with him. And that's why he says at the end, like, we're going to use him for our benefit.
For a second, I thought the dog turned into the sword for him.
That would have been cute.
That would have been cute. That would have been a little chainsaw man, maybe.
Oh, Pochita.
Sword dog.
Pochita
Sword
door
dog online.
And you could do anything with that concept, and Megan would just be like...
You got one dedicated, loyal reader right here.
Just put dog faces over all the characters.
Same story. Yeah.
Just Megan's in a world of whimsy and magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, and that was pretty much the end. I mean, they're gonna use Balgo and this other girl who was raising Cinderella as a tool, as a weapon, for their agenda.
Yeah, and they just get collars now, I guess.
Yeah, they have collars.
Yeah, like why do all of them have collars?
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that, is kind of the conclusion, and it does wrap up very nicely. It does tell what feels like a complete story, and I think that's why the anime is sort of ended there, because it is complete. And then you're shown that there is more afoot. Hopefully enough to, interest you and want to keep reading. But that's pretty much it. What are some of your final thoughts, or now that we've gone through everything, on the volume as a whole, or on the series as a whole?
I mean, yeah, I don't think I'll ever like stories like this.
Yeah, I think, we discovered that Megan is a shonen gal, and Cody is not a shonen guy. And this is very shonen, I would say.
Yeah, the thing with the friend and the dragon, the 10 years of a bro, being that guy, that was the highlight of this story for me.
And then it just kind of fell off after that.
Yeah, the beginning felt kind of like, yeah, that's this character, which, I'm not over that just being a trope.
Well, I mean, and I understand what you're saying, but I think that is, an archetype, and that is just a part of this medium, this genre, specifically, not even anime and manga, but specifically shonen. I'm not saying that, you have to be okay with that, but I do think that it is very much a part of these stories. And I think that, to be overly critical about it, maybe from a story sense isn't fair, but from a personal sense, I completely.
Yeah, no, I don't know. If you like shonen, you'd what is this? This does feel like a combo of Bleach. It feels less like Bleach though. Like it felt more like Soul Eater to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially with like using the monsters as weapons. Isn't that like a?
Yeah. They use each other as weapons.
The Meisters,
which we all
do. Meister, and then you have a weapon, and you have to have an emotional connection. Your souls must become one in order. You have to resonate.
That's beautiful.
But I really liked it. I think I'm gonna keep collecting them once they come out. Keep reading them. I think I'll do that versus maybe watching it, and then when I finish it all, I'll go back to the anime because I really do like the art. I do like the characters and their dynamic, and I'm excited to see what continues to happen, what the dragon situation's all about. But I had a really fun time reading it. It was very it was all the same kind of archetypes of different characters, but it was like it felt a little fresh. Like I haven't read anything like this before with the setting and the dragons and I don't know. It was cool.
Yeah. I mean, same for me. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but I think that the art style alone, the character designs, the world, while I do agree that I think Bleach maybe had a stronger start, I think that, Kubos, the way he sort of evolved as an artist and as a mangaka, I think this was it was so fun. It was just so, it did keep moving a lot. And, the emotional beats there could have been more time spent with them. But I mean, as a first volume to hook you, I think it's fun. I think it's action packed. I think the characters are awesome. The world is awesome. The way that they're using their abilities is awesome. And as a shonen goes, I think that this is something that I'm not only going to for sure collect just because of, again, how beautiful the physical copies are, but that I want to keep reading and I want to keep watching. And I'm just blown away by everything that this man does. So all that said, that's going to do it for our review, our discussion, our analysis, our deep dive of Burn the Witch, Volume 1. Let us know how you feel about Burn the Witch. Have you read it? What do you think of it? Are there parts that you like, parts that you don't like? If you decide to check it out based on this video, let us know too in the comments below. Let us know all your thoughts on Burn the Witch and on Bleach and on Kubo and even on our conversation in the beginning about, money versus legacy. We'd love to hear everything that you have to say. We're not done yet, though. The only thing that we have to do before we get to our outro is get to another wonderful segment, the Wonder Circle, which is the segment on our show where Volume 1-chan, our beautiful AI, goes through comments that you've left on previous videos, finds a couple, reads them to us. We respond to them live on the show. And if you would like your comment to be read by Volume 1-chan in a future Wonder Circle, all you got to do is leave a comment on this video or any of our previous videos. With all that said, Volume 1-chan, can you take it away and hit us with the first comment, please?
This one comes from B-Man's World. You guys deserve way more subs. This pod is golden. Way better than those other 3 anime people.
Ooh. I wonder who he could be talking about.
Yeah, who do you think they're talking about?
Nobody.
That is obviously an amazing compliment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great to hear. And, you could tell us that till the cows come home and it's never going to go to our heads.
No.
No. Never.
No.
So
until the dragons come to roost.
Until the dragons come to roost. But for real though, who do you think they were talking about?
3 anime. Well, it was quotations, right? It was 3 anime people.
Oh, right. So maybe, yeah.
So maybe
that's a clue.
Maybe that's a clue.
I mean, who would be anime but not anime?
Yeah, who would be anime
or who would
and
claim
manga, but not
who would
anime
claim to be
and
it?
manga. Yeah.
Who would claim to be it
Interesting.
and not be?
And there's also 3 of them. I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time thinking about it, but
yeah.
I don't know. Let
was
us know.
It the Hokage?
Might have been the 3 Hokage. Maybe Sasuke, Sakura, Naruto, maybe.
Well, because they're not anime.
But they are in an anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what he's talking about.
Oh, well, that's even a higher compliment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because I
so
bet
much.
I'm gonna look. I know there's a little. I don't think Naruto would be that good at reviewing manga.
and hey, dude, that was hard to hear. But after thinking about it, I might have to agree with you.
Yeah. So obviously Sasuke. Naruto.
Sakura.
Yeah.
I
think that fits.
That's a little hurtful.
Why is that hurtful? I don't want to be Sakura.
I mean, I don't think anybody wants to be Sakura. But the fact that you,
I'm just
bestowed that title upon me.
I'm trying to think of the comment, dude.
Well, you
I'm trying
can let
to
us
put
know
it together.
in the comments who's Sasuke, who's Naruto, who's Sakura.
You
let
say
us know.
comment?
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Or something else.
What did you think? What did you hear?
You didn't hear what I said? No.
I thought you just repeated comment.
No, I said something else, but we can move on.
I'll go back and I'll listen.
You go back and listen.
Now people are gonna be like, "We're right."
Yeah. Volume 1 Sean, can you hit us with the next comment, please?
This one comes from Arius Nightwing. I demand a video of Bracody breaking down philosophy of DMG balancing. Edit. Also review on dog food.
Oh, I like the dog food part.
Well, I wouldn't be able to do that because I don't eat dog food anymore.
And to be honest, and you were talking about Naruto not being a good manga reviewer. I don't think that you'd be a good dog food reviewer because you only ate one.
And it all tastes good to him.
I mean,
and it all tastes good.
They're all made from the same ingredients.
They'd all be 5-star reviews.
It'd all be 5-star. Yeah, there'd be there'd be no distinction between.
I mean, I don't do it anymore, so it's besides the point.
What's this other balancing thing that they're
like damage balancing?
Oh,
DMG
right.
balancing, which would be that's just going back into philosophy of nerfing and buffing and debuffing,
which we talked about on the solo
the artificial variety games will employ while still having everything having the same basic effect. Now we can bring in fire damage versus ice damage, right? Mm-hmm. So you're gonna be like, okay, so you just cut me off.
No, keep going, and I will cut you off.
Okay, because I can. Okay, so
but it's not gonna feel good when I cut you off.
Okay, all right. So in Skyrim, there's fire damage, right? So that does 8 damage plus an additional DPS damage per second effect after that. Now, so what that means, and also they take more damage from it. So the more you hit them with it, the more damage they take.
Right.
Now, then ice damage. Well, what does that do? It takes away stamina. Now the problem with that is it
10
does
seconds. You have 10 seconds.
It does 8. It does 8 damage and then like 8 stamina damage. But then it's like in the time it takes you to drain their stamina to be effective, you already killed them with the fire spell.
You did it in 10 seconds.
Wow, that was perfect.
That was great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we should just do 10 seconds from now on, huh?
And you know what, dude? We kind of went even a little. into games on our Patreon exclusive bonus podcast.
We did.
We didn't talk about PTSD or whatever.
We did not talk about that. We talked about
no, we didn't talk about
damage.
What is it called?
Balancing.
Balancing.
DMG is just like the shorthand for damage. DMG.
DMG.
You guys don't know any term.
Damage.
No.
Damage.
Don't play video games.
Yeah. I don't play video games like that. Damage. M is for.
No, it just like.
Damage. I get it.
Damage. So yeah, so you take away all the.
Got it. The unnecessary, the extra letters.
So it can fit in a HUD. So you can just easily. Yeah.
Wow. You learned something new.
Now I'll give you because it's not an acronym.
It's not an acronym. No.
It's not. I mean, I guess it is shorthand, but only in written form because you would still read it as damage in your head. You don't read it as DMG, you read it as damage.
Right. I mean, now I know. The more you know.
Fire dragons do fire.
Fire dragons do fire. Ice dragons do ice.
Burn the witch.
Burn the witch.
Burn the witch.
Burn the
Burn
witch.
the witch.
Burn
She's
it all
a
down.
witch.
Volume 1, Sean, can you hit us with the final comment, please?
This one comes from 13 Online. Maybe it would be cool if Volume 1 Sean did the chapter titles like spoiler section, series synopsis, Wonder Circle, etc. Why don't I do that already?
Interesting.
Well, this opens the door for us to have a very important conversation. While, yes, that would be wonderful and amazing, and we'd love to know what you would like to hear Volume 1 Sean do. If you would like to hear her read synopsises and all that, on top of reading the comments, then let us know. However, keep in mind that programming her AI, or should I say, tweaking her mainframe.
I think what they're saying is to have a Volume 1 Sean only says like spoiler time, and that's used every time. The same clip.
Okay. Well,
so she wouldn't like have to get out of her busy schedule to record stuff.
Because usually she can only pop in right at the end because she can't. The neuromatrix of the transmogrifiers they get mixed up mid episode.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you kind of combine two mainframes, I think, the CPU of the computer mixed with the transmogrifier of her, intuitive AI, I think it's a lot of those things the wires get crossed, I think, and it overloads the system.
And it takes up too much RAM.
Takes up a lot, and not enough RAM, to be honest, but it does take up a lot of RAM. So yeah, let us know if you want to hear her, read synopses or give spoilers, warnings. Then maybe we'll program that into her mainframe. And if you want them to be, if you don't mind them being the same every time, then they'll be the same every time. But that's gonna do it for our Wonder Circle. Thank you guys so much for being here for another amazing episode. We do have to thank and have to shout out our wonderful, amazing, our beautiful, we'll pipe it up for our pipers, our Patreon members.
You guys are magical to me.
Oh, you guys are so magical. You guys.
Like more magical than a dog with little wings on it.
Yeah, you guys are cuter than that too. I would say more magical and more cute.
Yeah.
And honestly, not that I'm saying I would want to see your panties necessarily, but I mean that is something that a character did say.
Character did say that in the manga.
And I'm just trying to really kind of call back to that.
Recap.
I'm just trying to, you know what I mean? But I also would slay dragons for you. For
them.
For you and you and you.
I would pretend to be their friend for 10 years before revealing my true identity.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the greatest compliment of all. Thank you to all of our wonderful Patreon members. It's because of you. You guys make this show possible. You make everything we do possible. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. Your support means the world to us. If you'd like to become a Patreon member, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/volume1pod, where you will get, we now finally feel like we're settling into our new schedule. So you will get early access to all of our videos, and you will get access to our exclusive bonus Patreon podcast, Volume 1 Extra, where we go deep into sometimes movies, sometimes video games, sometimes we take quizzes, sometimes we talk about horoscopes or any anime or manga news. We talk about it all. Sometimes our dreams. Sometimes we talk about behind the scenes things as well. And so if any of that sounds interesting to you, or if you just want to support us and help us, then you could do that again by going to patreon.com/volume1pod. You get access to all of those things at our lowest tier. But that's not all, is it, gang?
Oi, governor.
Oi.
I bet you're thinking, I don't have money. I can't join no Patreon gang talking about money. I'll tell you what you could do is you could join the algorithm gang. What's that, Megan?
This just in.
Yes, Cody. Interesting that you say that.
Delay. That was a nice touch.
The algorithm gang is something that you can do for free, for absolutely free. Free 99, one would say. You can comment algorithm on the videos. You can comment a period. You can comment an emoji. Anything you want, and that helps boost our algorithm.
So you can view all those.
Back to you, Cody.
So
yeah, I like the pause. Go ahead.
So you can view all of those little bumps and thumbs up, and you're like, this is pointless. No, it's not. You can view it as a little tip. Little tip for your old pals. Josh, Megan, and Cody. Back to you, Josh.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching and listening to another episode of Volume 1. This episode was so fun, and I'm so happy that I got to talk about all of these things. And I'm so happy that you're here to the very end. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro that is always the same and never changes, which today, of course, is...
Drag on these nuts.
That is pretty high up there.
I can't think of anything better.
I don't even dare top it.
I was thinking something with ball gone, but I mean that kind of covers it.
Yeah, drag on these nuts. Okay.
Son of a witch. This was a good manga.
Son of a witch. That this manga didn't feel like it dragged on, but I think yours is like better. Yeah. Drag on these nuts.
Yeah. Reverse London.
Goodbye, governor.
Goodbye, governor. Goodbye, governor. I do like it.
Yeah, I like that.
I do like it. How do we feel? It's between drag on these nuts and goodbye, governor.
Oh, God.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah.
If we all do the British voice for the governor.
Okay.
I like it. I like it a lot.
What is it? Goodbye, governor?
Goodbye, governor.
Goodbye, governor.
Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time,
goodbye, governor. Goodbye, governor. I've got to go to Reverse London.
I've got to go to Forward London.
Fuck you.
Whoa, I'm trying to catch the trolley.
Oi, the trolley. Oh, you fucking myth.
Oh, wow. You always say the craziest things like once the video stops,